Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your Destiny Dad, and welcome back to another week with our friend Xur. Let's see what he's got going on for us this week. This will be the second time that I've done this format of a video, and I think it went pretty well last time. So we're gonna see how this goes again. Up first for our hunters, we have the 6th Coyote. We've got a Grenadier. What do you call that? Archetype, I guess? Grenadier archetype. We've got Grenade and Super, and then we've got our tertiary stat being 12 in health. Base power of 60. 6 Coyote is pretty fun. For a while before they tweaked out all the timings and regenerations and whatnot, I used 6 Coyote on Prismatic for Hunter and PvP. It was a lot of fun. Up next we have Blight Ranger. There are some people who swear by this exotic, and I've tried it a handful of times and just, I don't know, can't get behind it personally. But it is a Paragon archetype, and its tertiary stat is health with 11. For Titans, we have Ashen Wake. This used to be super obnoxiously strong. I honestly don't know how it sits right now, but grenades are incredibly strong in general. It is Paragon again, I believe, right? Yeah, we've got another Paragon, this time with its tertiary being in Grenade, which is nice, but you kind of want a Grenadier archetype on something like that, I would think. But, you know. Up next we have Blast Wave Striders. These things are interesting. I think I finally got mine, but this was an exotic that came out that I just didn't really care about, and I drug my feet on getting it for a very long time. Now these are Grenadier, and your tertiary is class with 11 in that stat. For the Warlocks, we have Claws of Ahamkara, also Grenadier, and a 12 in health. Is that not the same? Yeah, okay, 30, 18, 30, 18. Okay, that identical stat rolls to the 6 Coyote and Claws of Ahamkara. Interesting. Cenotaph Mask, super strong S tier exotic. If you don't have this exotic, please get it. Now this one is also a Grenadier, which I guess is not bad. I think I would want more super than anything, or class, I suppose, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I would want. I'm still figuring out what I like in terms of the archetypes. But Cenotaph is super strong, super helpful. And even though we don't really have like Grandmasters and things like that, like we did in the past, there's still plenty of difficult activities that we play in the game. And having this is going to be good for your team. For our strange offers this week, we have the usual cacophony of materials as well as raid banners. 7 for 11. That actually feels like a pretty solid deal. You can get I think 10 for 20,000 glimmer. I like never buy raid banners. Hang on. I don't remember the last time I bought a raid banner personally. So if I'm out of touch with how much a raid banner costs, you'll have to forgive me. But that sounds like a good deal. For our strange gear, ooh, looks like we've got some heat this week. Okay. We do have Hawkmoon with Eye of the Storm, as well as Arrowhead Break and a handling speed grip. That's not too bad actually. That's a solid dueling weapon. I think Arrowhead is probably holding back its range a touch, but just in general, the handling and the Eye of the Storm and it being Hawkmoon like it is, overall, I think that would be a great role for duels. Next we have the Cerberus +1, another gun that I just cannot get into personally. I have it, I have the Catalyst. It used to be strong against bubbles in PvP. Now I don't really know what it's good for. I don't know. It's a weird one. I love what it is, but it's just not I don't know. It's just not a gun for me personally. Next is one of my favorite exotics of all time, the Hardlight. I think this gun is super underrated, especially in the current landscape that we're in. Oh, I feel like because it's ARs and SMGs that do overloads this season, I believe, right? It's not just SMGs. I've mostly been using SMGs, yeah. It will stun overload, which is nice. It depends on your build. I think Hardlight is really, really strong in general. I think it's stronger than a lot of people realize, with the buff to fundamentals giving you just passive damage buffs all the time. If you're building into your element and just have this for ad clear, even in higher end activities, if you're giving yourself verbs and synergies, you're also getting damage increases, and you know, I think that this is a slept on weapon. Next we have the Colony. Now this one is almost as bad as the Telesto, but not quite. This thing has a habit of breaking the game in funny little ways and allowing you to be able to shoot through shields and anti-immune bosses and just do some shenanigans that are pretty fun. Up next we have the Sunshot Catalyst, as well as the Tractor Cannon Catalyst. Both of these are really solid weapons. If you have either of them and don't have the Catalyst, I definitely recommend grabbing it. So for our legendary weapons, we do have Duty Bound, we've got Stats for All, and Dynamic Sway. This is going to be a pass for me. Arrowhead is nice, as is Tac Mag. But once again, this is one of those times where it's half and half for PvE and PvP. So for me, it would be a pass. If you really like the gun and you think you can get some use out of it, more power to you. Up next, we have Locus Locotus. Rapid fire? No, it's an adaptive. Okay. A stasis sniper that had a lot of potential and just did not have any really good rolls or anything. There was no like snapshot, opening shot, or any of the sort for PvP. And for PvE, it was just like they put quirky stuff on it, but nothing that was strong. And this role in general, I don't think I would ever find myself using again. To each their own. If it's something you want to take a stab at, feel free. You have Cold Denial with Enlightened and Desperado. That's a really solid roll, actually. Light Mag, Poly Rounds. Handling is not bad, but I would prefer some other things, I think. But overall, like that's a really solid PvP roll. Even PvE, that's like a really good general purpose roll of that gun. Oh, and it has the origin trait. Hang on. I'm gonna grab that myself. Up next we have Timeline's Vertex. This is one of my favorite guns that have ever been in Destiny. But it just got refreshed like once ever, and the rolls on it were kind of mid. And I hunted for a long time to have a roll of it that was worthwhile keeping, and it doesn't have any, and it makes me sad. But regardless of perk, if you get a good scope and a decent battery, this is one of the best feeling fusions that the game has ever had. Bar none, hands down, no contest. It feels good to use. And if you're like me and you want to try something like that out, then I definitely recommend grabbing it. As for this specific role, autoloading and demo, it's not terrible for a PvE role, but I think there's a lot other better, stronger options. Brass Attacks with Killing Wind and One for All. We do have Extended Mag and Hammer Forged. Not awful, but I want to say left column could get demo on this. There was something, there was a good combo. You could get like a utility and a damage perk on this gun back in the day. And Killing Wind was not it. I remember that. But it's not terrible. Next we have Forbearance with Disruption Break and Golden Tricorn. You do have Hard Launch, but I guess you would want Wave Free. Yeah, you do want good blast radius, so I guess that's fine. I mean, that's not a terrible role. I don't know if it's a role that I would want, but I guarantee you that there's some like goofy guy out there who's looking at this going like, oh yeah, that's the role. That's it. Once again, we have Sail Spy Pitch Glass. This again is a good role for what it can roll, but as I've said about a million times for this poor gun, it just isn't good compared to the other arc linear fusions that we have that we could get, I suppose. Swashbuckler, you're not going to be taking that into a boss fight, you know, and if you are, it's not going to be, you know, you're going to get beat out. Like, even if it's Arc Surge, if you come in here with this and somebody else on your team comes in with a Scintillation with Bait and Switch and they've got 2 Surge mods or even 3 Surge mods, they're going to outpace you by like a bajillion damage. There's no way that this is keeping up with any other option. So even to just have like an arc linear in your arsenal, I would pass on this, sadly. I think it had potential and they just did not give it the juice. Now, this one is an interesting choice. Relentless is really solid. I want to like permeability. I've had this on a couple weapons, and I think on the right weapon, this would absolutely cook. I think that on energy weapons, if I don't know that there are any that roll with it, but a permeability on a primary energy weapon, I think that that would cook really hard for stasis and strand builds. I've had this on 1 or 2 weapons. I think I've always managed to find it on like special weapons and heavy weapons, and maybe they only are on special and heavy. I really don't know off the top of my head. But whatever the case, I think that there's a play for it, but I don't think that it's great. I think it's definitely one of those ones that's like, oh, this is quirky and fun and different, but it's not good. So I'll leave that one up to you. The rest of the sword is a pretty solid build. I'd say this is like, barring this would be like a 4 out of 5. Honed Edge is not as good as Jagged, but it is good nonetheless. Honed or Tempered. I guess Tempered because it increases ammo and damage. Swordmaster, of course. Relentless is fantastic. Chain Reaction is not bad. And then you've got Impact, of course, and overall the sword itself functions really, really well. It's just permeability. I don't know, man. And last but not least, we do have Faith Keeper. This is actually really a good... What? Okay, that's a really solid roll of this rocket. It's a precision frame, so it's the least damage dealing rocket. It also does not have impact casing or hard launch. And it has a range masterwork? Question mark. But despite all of that, it is a craftable weapon. So if you don't have it, pick up a few copies and use your resonance, make it craftable, and get that thing crafted if you feel like doing so. It's a really fun rocket. I like the theme of these weapons a bunch. Do these shade like the Vogue weapons do? Oh yeah. Okay, that's nice. That's really nice actually. Okay. Well yeah, that's it is a rocket of all time. If you are interested in it, can be crafted. If not, that's a decent roll. You don't have impact casing, so you do lose out on some damage. You have linear compensator, which is not bad. It'll help you even that damage out a little bit. I don't know how the range masterwork works, if it does at all. Sometimes you'll buy it and it'll drop not what it states if it's an incorrect masterwork. So I don't know. If you want to experiment with that, you go right ahead. But for now, I believe that is going to be all this week. I want to say a huge thank you if you came and watched this far. Please be sure to leave a like before you go. Follow and turn on notifications so you never miss a video from yours truly. And I appreciate you coming and hanging out. Just the same as last week. Let me know down below how this this format for videos seems, feels, looks. It's a lot less edited and very different from what it normally would be, so I don't know if I don't know if it's good or bad or what, but let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good week, Guardians.